Welcome to Appmixer. So in this tutorial, I will show you step by step how to build your first flow or automation. So let's dive right in. I will go into automations and click create a flow. The first thing I'll have to do is pick the trigger, which is the starting point of your flow. So this can be a new email coming in or a new file uploaded to your Google Drive, a new message on Slack, or a new task assigned to you or someone on your team. For this tutorial, I will use Typeform. So I'll just quickly show you what I have built for this tutorial. So on Typeform, which is a no-code tool for building forms, I've built this simple form that asks what areas recommend a product to others. That's the NPS score. Which features do you like, and what feedback you would like to give us so that we can improve our product. And so I want to collect this feedback from users, because that's a key part of improving your product, collecting feedback and acting on it. And so whenever a form like this is submitted, I want to let my team know that, hey, this feedback was submitted, check it out. Maybe we can plan something based on the feedback. So to do that, I'll pick the Typeform app as the starting point. I'll select new entry, and here I'll need to connect to my Typeform account so that it can grab the data from that account. So just load up this dialog. I'll hit accept, and we'll give access. Now I just need to select the form, which is NPS and feedback. And that's it for the starting point, for the trigger. Now, whenever a new form is submitted, this flow will instantly detect it and send the data for this flow to process. So all my changes are auto-saved, so you don't have to worry about losing your progress. And now let's move on to adding the next step. And since we use Slack to communicate on our team, I'll use Slack because that's where I want to share the info from the form. So I'll look for Slack and send a channel message. So I want to send it to a specific channel. And here I'll again need to connect. I've already connected to my Slack account, so that's done. Next, I'll need to pick the right channel. So I've prepared the NPS feedback channel for it. And next, I can define the message. So I can type in some custom text, such as new user feedback, colon, and then I can put in some details coming from the form. So it's going to be the NPS score, and then I'll use data from the form. And to do that, I'll use this variable picker to pick dynamic data that's going to come every time the form is submitted. So that's the first question. I'd like me to recommend our product. That's the NPS score. And so the number is going to be here instead of this blue pill. So next, I'll add more data for the second question, and that's the favorite feature. And to answer that, I'll use which features do you find most valuable, and how to improve is the last data piece coming from the form. And so that's going to be, what's the one thing that you find difficult? I can choose to send this as a bot on Slack, so that it doesn't come from my account, but from a Slack bot, and I can name it anything such as feedback delivery. Okay, so the flow is essentially ready. I can hit start, and then I can go and submit a form. So this is the form that I've just connected to that flow. Here I'll submit the score. I'll give it a 7. My favorite feature is definitely the deployment options and where you can improve, add more colors in the UI. I'll hit submit. Now, if we go back to the flow, we'll see that the data has come through. And so we have the detailed logs about it. But most importantly, we want to see the real life outcome, and that's on Slack. So let's head over there. So on Slack, I can see that the flow delivered the data here. It used the custom name that I defined for the bot and shared all the data from that form entry. So this was the basic setup of a flow on Appmixer. We've successfully set up a data collection from a form on Typeform and shared that information in a communication channel on Slack. And now we can take a look at how to further expand this flow and make it a little bit more advanced. So to do that, I'll stop the flow. And I'll essentially want to create 2 branches and send 2 different messages based on the score. So if it's a low score and it's some kind of a negative feedback, I want to have a slightly different message appear on Slack. And if it's a positive score, then I want to also have maybe some different emojis and a different text saying, this is a positive piece of feedback as opposed to the negative one. So to do that, I'll add a filtering step in between. So I'll click right here. I'll look for the condition. And so here I can filter based on the data that's coming in. So I'll use a variable. So that means data coming from the form. So to that, I'll use the variable picker here and select the first question, which is the score. So if the score is greater than or equal to 6, I want to consider it as a positive piece of feedback. And so if this condition is fulfilled, it's going to continue down this true port, and it's going to deliver that message. And if it's not matching the condition, so that means it's false, it's going to go down this other route. So first, let's finish this first part. So since this is delivering the positive feedback message, I can adjust this and maybe add even some emojis from Slack. So I'll use the code names from Slack. So the green circle emoji on Slack is a large green circle, and I'll say new positive feedback and high NPS score, exclamation mark. Now I'll say this NPS score, that's the favorite feature, and what do we need to improve? And the rest remains the same. Now I can just easily copy this and paste it down over here. And now essentially I can connect it to the false port here. So remember, the condition here was if it's greater than 6, and if not, then it's going this way. And so here, that's the negative feedback message. So I'll adjust the output here. I will want to add a red circle, so to indicate like this is not good feedback. So I'll put in new negative feedback and NPS and a red circle emoji that's in front of it, and the rest remains the same. So now I've built the two parts, the positive feedback message and the negative one. So I'll start that. And now I can go and submit the form again. So the score I will give is 2. And then I will say that I like the embedded UI. But the script was hard to understand. This is about the embedding part. And so I hit submit. And if I go over to Slack, I'll see that I have the red circle, new negative feedback, and score is 2. So one more feature I'd like to showcase is data modification. So modifying data that's running through the flow. So any of the data variables that we've used, so the data coming from the form, I can modify it while it's running through the flow. So to do that, I'll click the variable, and it will open this modifier panel. So modifiers are what we call data transformation tools. So you'll see we have lots of choice for modifying objects, working with lists, but also with text, numbers, and modifying date and time, as well as mount functions. So it's going to give me a preview of the data that's coming in. So that's the embedded UI, which is an option from the form. And so I'll just quickly modify it into, let's say, uppercase. I can click test to see what the modifier will do to the data. If I'm happy with it, I'll just confirm it. And now I see it's modified. So if I start this right now, we can see the output again for a positive message returned from the feedback form. So this time I'll give the ultimate 10 score. I really like the builder, and now it's flexible. Modifier functions, okay. Modifier functions are great. I'll hit submit. And if I go back to Slack, I'll see that there's a green circle message, and it's capitalizing this one. So that's just a quick demo of the modifier functions as well from Appmixer. Okay, so that's it for building a basic flow and expanding it a little bit. I hope it was useful. I'll see you in the next one.